Hello and welcome everyone, it's Kepkin and we are looking at our Fire Mage talent tree from Dragonflight, starting with Pyroblast, which is probably untouched, but 4.5 seconds cast time, hurls an immense fiery boulder that causes 151% of spell power fire damage, and Pyroblast initial damage is increased by 5% when the target is above 70% health or below 30% health. Okay, so Pyroblast, one of our core abilities. Then Fireblast, so Pyroblast and Fireblast. Instant 12 seconds recharge, blasts an enemy for 100% of spell power fire damage, castable while casting other spells, always deals a critical strike chance. Oh, so yeah, that's probably, now I understand why there's a fire note under the initial text. And Fervent Flickering, ignites damage, has a 5% chance to reduce the cooldown of Fire Blast by 1 second, which you're probably gonna take. So then Scorch scorches an enemy for 17% of spell power, fire damage, castable while moving, 1.5 seconds cast time. Phoenix Flames, 2 charges, 25 seconds recharge, instant, hurls a phoenix that deals 90% of fire damage, 90% of spell power fire damage to the target and reduce damage to the other nearby enemies. And our flame strike here, so 4 seconds cast time as well, calls down a pillar of fire, burning all enemies within the area for 55% of spell power fire damage and reducing their movement speed by 20% for 8 seconds. I'm not sure if the movement speed reduction was there before, because yeah, I didn't really play fire on the high level, but okay, pretty interesting. So all our skills that are like baseline 100%, you're gonna take them all, they are all here. So yeah, most of them you probably would take like 100% of the time. Let's see for the parts of the tree that goes later. Searing Touch, Scorch deals 150% increased damage and is guaranteed critical strike when the target is below 30% health. So base Scorch doesn't even has guaranteed critical strike chance for the low health enemies. Okay, I'm just gonna pull take the skill points here so I can look for the 2 passive points down there. Improved Scorch, casting Scorch on targets below 30% health, increase the target's damage taken from you by 2% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Additionally, Scorch critical strikes increase your movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. So you're guaranteeing yourself an additional movement speed while you're scorching enemies that are low HP, and you're getting increases for your damage. So like, yeah, 12% increased damage, mostly single target oriented. Yeah, probably the talent itself. Pretty good. A critical mass. Your spells have a 7% chance, increased chance to deal a critical strike. Okay. You gain 5% more of the critical strike stat from all sources. Holy shit. Yeah, maybe that's like because you have already tons of guaranteed crits and you weren't really going into the crit strike chance as like stat, but now you have very big like buffs to the stat itself, though I don't know if it's gonna be enough and if the stat is gonna be so highly relevant for you anyways. Choose one. From the Ashes, increases mastery by 2% for each charge of Phoenix Flames off cooldown, and your direct damage critical strikes reduce its cooldown by 1 second. Okay, so more uptime on Phoenix Flames and more mastery while your Phoenix Flames is off cooldown, which is a little bit weird, but okay. And second one is Alexstrasza's Fury. Phoenix Flames and Dragon's Breath always critically strike, and Dragon's Breath contributes to Hot Streak. So you want to use your, yeah, so it makes a little bit more sense why Dragon's Breath is so deep below down here in the main talent tree. Yes, and of course, like Phoenix Flames not always critically striking is gonna be a little bit of a problem. And here we have Mastery and just more uptime of Phoenix Flames. So probably first from the Ashes you want to take if you have high crit chance anyway. And maybe Alexstrasza's Fury you want to take if you're like pretty low on the crit strike stat. Maybe. Call of the Sun King. Phoenix Flames gain one additional charge, which is pretty interesting. It gives you, yeah, if it's gonna, how does it have? So 25 seconds, recharge 2 charges and then 3 charges, which means like, anyway, for burst situations where you need your burst damage, this is gonna be great. For PvP, it's probably gonna be great. For M+, it may be like you maybe not be able to gain all these stacks anyway because you're gonna use them pretty often. Yeah, but that's an option which is quite interesting. So at center now, after Phoenix Flames, Firestarter. Your Fireball and Pyroblast spells always deal a critical strike when the target is above 90% health. So that's for your good for single target, definitely good for open world content where you're like starting your rotation with fireballs. Maybe not as hot on the AoEs. Pyrotechnics, on the M+, I mean. Pyrotechnics. Each time your fireball fails to critically strike a target, it gains a stack and 10% increased critical strike chance. Oh, effect ends when fireball critically strikes. So this passive is now optional as well. Okay, it's a little bit more strange to me, to be honest, because like fireball, stacking your fireball crits in order to get your starting crit and then to crit second time with Fireblast. Yeah. All right. Cauterize. Fatal damage instead brings you to 35% health and then burns you for 28% of your maximum health for 6 seconds while burning. Movement slowing effects are suppressed and your movement speed is increased by 150%. This effect cannot occur more than once every 5 minutes. Probably more of a damage progression. I mean rate progression and PvP talent. Flame On reduces the cooldown of Fireblast by 2 seconds and increases the number of charges by 1, and then you can have like what? No, only 2 seconds and then 2 additional charges. Okay, so at least one. If the reduce of cooldown of Fireblast doesn't really scales with second point of talent, you're 100% gonna take this one talent point. If it's gonna be by 4 seconds and now increases number by 2 charges, then you're 100% taking second. But I doubt it. It's probably just additional stack, which again is quite useful in PvP. Maybe useful on some raids when you're getting off all your damage, but now one stack is not gonna be that much. Yeah, probably like 1 point. If that's not PvP encounter, probably you're getting only 1 point here. Combustion is optional. What the hell? So Combustion instant 2 minutes cooldown engulfs you in flames in 10 seconds for 10 seconds, increasing your spell's critical strike chance by 100%, castable while casting other spells. So that's our the juiciest damage cooldown of Mage. You're 100% taking it, like no questions asked. Then we have Firemind. Consuming Hot Streak grants you 1% increased intellect for 12 seconds. The effect stacks up to 3 times, which is like just flat out increase of all your damage. You're probably gonna take it and take second one as well. Choose one. Improved Combustion. Combustion grants mastery equal to 50% of your critical strike stat and lasts 2 seconds longer. Okay, so more burst damage in very short windows, more mastery, just more mastery. Or Tempered Flames. Pyroblast has a 40% reduced cast time and a 15% increased critical strike chance. The duration of combustion is reduced by 40%. So that's for you to manually cast Pyroblast with like what, 2.8 seconds cast time and increased crit strike chance, but like combustion, duration of combustion is reduced by 40%. I don't understand the talent. I'm so sorry. I'm not really good at the fire mage at all, but like probably improved combustion. Alright, then we're going with the right part of the tree. Flame Patch. Flame Strike leaves behind a patch of flames which burns enemies within it for additional fire damage over 8 seconds, which you're probably 100% taken in Mythic Plus scenarios. Living Bomb. Instant 12 seconds cooldown. The target becomes a living bomb, taking 24% of spell power fire damage over 4 seconds, and then exploding to deal an additional 14% of spell power fire damage to the target and reduce spell damage to all other enemies within 10 seconds. Other enemies hit by the explosion also become a living bomb, but this effect cannot spread further. Yes, so additional AoE damage, you're probably taking it if you're running M+, Talent 3. Incendiary Eruptions. Enemies damaged by Flame Patch have a 5% chance to erupt into a living bomb. Okay, so like, yeah, this is pretty cool talent, because you're having like chaining stuff with your one AoE ability that can take enemies suffer from another AoE abilities, which can then spread to other enemies and nuke them as well. Pretty interesting. All right, so Conflagration. Fireball applies Conflagration to the target, dealing an additional small fire damage over 8 seconds. Enemies affected by other Conflagration or Ignite have a 10% chance to flare up and deal fire damage to nearby enemies. So additional AoE damage. Yes, but only from fireballs affected by either Conflagration or Ignite. Oh, wait a second. So yeah, that's not only from fireballs, which means, yeah, Conflagration, again, more AoE damage. Just heads up. Fire Blast increases your mastery by... I don't know the meaning, which means, yeah, like 4 multiplied by mastery. It increases your mastery by some percent for 3 seconds. This effect stacks to up to 3 times. So if you're going hard on your mastery and you're taking probably mastery here as well, it's gonna be pretty good. Choose one. Pyromaniac. Casting Pyroblast or Flame Strike while Hot Streak is active has an 8% chance to instantly reactivate Hot Strike. Alright, so yeah, it's for you to chain your procs. Firefall, damaging an enemy with 30 fireballs or pyroblast causes your next fireball to call down a meteor on your target. Hitting an enemy player counts as double. So yeah, one of them is quite more universal and both AoE and single target available. Like, yeah. And Firefall is definitely, but Meteor is an AoE skill. Yet still, you're damaging an enemy, not an enemy's. Yeah, it's probably a single target. The Firefall is probably single target or PvP oriented stuff. Master of Flame. Ignite deals 25% more damage while Combustion is not active. Okay. Fire Blast spreads Ignite to 4 additional nearby targets during Combustion. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. Fevered Incantation, so that's one of our legendary abilities from the Shadowlands. Each consecutive critical strike you deal increases critical strike damage you deal by 1% up to 5% for 6 seconds, so only consecutive critical strikes. And that's like pretty massive damage multiplier, because you're critting with all your stuff, and crit damage multiplier is just like pretty heavy. Hyperthermia. When Hot Streak activates, you have a low chance to cause all Pyroblasts and Flame Strikes to have no cast time and be guaranteed critical strikes for 5 seconds. So that's for you to have your like blasting chance 1.6 procs per minute, so almost twice a minute. Oh, it's not really that low, you know, because yeah, for 5 seconds, so that's like 7 seconds uptime for every 1 minute. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. All right, it's very good that they're messaging us with how much of procs are we getting per minute with stuff like this. Then center part of the tree, after combustion increases. Flame Accelerant. If you have not cast Fireball for 8 seconds, your next Fireball will deal 70% increased damage with a 20% reduced cast time. Yes, so that's like for you to accumulate more powerful Fireballs from time to time, which means more single targets damage. Your Fireball, Fireblast, and Phoenix Flames critical strikes reduce the remaining cooldown of on combustion by 1 second. So way better, like only critical strikes, but yeah, way better uptime on combustion is very, very good. Wildfire Ignite deals 5% additional damage when you activate combustion. You gain 4% critical strike chance probably, and up to 4 nearby allies gain 1%. Oh, so you're giving some critical strike chance buffs. And Ignite deals additional damage, but that's only when combustion, but for 10 seconds. And that's gonna be 2% critical strike chance increase for your allies. Up to 4 nearby, which means that, yeah, that's gonna be pretty good for your M+ as well. Okay, and Fiery Rush. While combustion is active, your Fire Blast and Phoenix Flames recharge 50% faster. That's for you to have a way better hitting combustions, which means that, yeah, it's probably more of a single target. Of course, it's both, but for raids and for PvP, where you're trying to line up your cooldowns way more tightly, that's gonna be better. All right. And now we're going into our left part of the tree, final part. Pyroclasm. Consuming Hot Streak has a 15% chance to make your non-instant Pyroblast cast within 15 seconds deal 240% additional damage, maximum 2 stacks. So that's more emphasis for your Pyroblasts to not be to be way faster casted, maximum 2 stacks, 15% chance every Hot Streak. You need to see it in game in order to know if that's better or not. If you're gonna go with like shorter combustion, yeah, you're probably definitely 100% need to test all the things. Phoenix Reborn. Targets affected by your Ignite have a chance to erupt in flame, take an additional lower spell damage, fire damage, and reducing the remaining cooldown of Phoenix Flames by 10 seconds. Proc chance 10%, 5 seconds cooldown. Okay, so just additional procs of damage from everywhere and additional cooldown reduction on Phoenix Flames. Controlled Destruction. Pyroblast's initial damage is increased by 5% when the target is above 70% or below 30%. Okay, 5% increased damage for Pyroblast. Oh. I'm so sorry. And then it's gonna be still above 70 or below 30%. So Pyroblast 10%. Yeah, that's 100% raid-oriented stuff, which is for either raid or PvP, but mostly raid still. And then Sun King's Blessing. After consuming 8 hot streaks, your next non-instant Pyroblast cast within 15 seconds grants you combustion for 6 seconds. And it's gonna be reduced by 40% probably with this talent. So Okay, so yeah, they are trying to get you very hard on non-procced, non-instant Pyroblasts, and it's definitely pretty cool that you can like swap around your playstyles so massively. That was very interesting. Talent tree, it's definitely way better than at least a couple of talent trees that I've already saw. It's on pair with one of the with the ones that are on the more interesting spectrum. That's 100%. So you have choice, you have different stuff. You're not really getting too many active new abilities 100%. Like most of the things are passive proc based or changes your already stacked up rotation and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty interesting. I'm gonna be very, very interested if you can play Fire Mage somehow in the other ways that you was playing him before, and it's viable and it's good. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna even test it in the Dragonflight. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well, and goodbye.